Happy Tuesday, Houston. I'm KHOU11 meteorologist Kim Castro. I'll be answering all of your weather questions here in the next 10 minutes. One of them is probably, hey, it's very cloudy outside. Some of those clouds are dark. Are we going to get rain? Okay, we are. For the most part right now, it's just a little mist, a little drizzle. I'll show you radar here in a second, but the big takeaway is still the heat. Look at the heat index. So what it feels like in the Heights, Rutland Street feels like 102. Winston Street feels like 101 degrees, taking you down closer to Montrose, the Galleria, West U. Everybody feels like they're at least at the century mark, maybe even hotter, 101, 102. The hottest point of the day is going to be right around 3 o'clock for what it feels like. You get up to 103 at the heat index. Now, actual high temperature, I think, is going to push to 97. That'll be at 5. Notice, that's going to be your higher likelihood of seeing a rain drop, okay? An isolated downpour is possible for your commute home today, so 4, 5, and 6 o'clock. And that's actually coming in from a weak front. By this evening, it's going to switch things up for us. Instead of a south breeze, we'll start dragging in some northerly air, which will be a little drier, so it means our temperatures will be a little better. Notice there won't be such big of a gap between the actual air temperature and the feels like. By 7 o'clock, actual air temperature is 92 and it feels like 95. So only a 3-degree temperature difference there instead of 9, which is what we're going to have here at 1 o'clock. So in the next 30 minutes. Here's a live look across the area. So those are the clouds I was alluding to. Hobby Airport, you'll notice there's some big building clouds that are thicker and a little bit darker. And every now and then we will see a couple of raindrops coming down from those. But Gulf Freeway shot right now, looking back towards downtown, is pretty calm. 88 degrees there, upper 80s to around 90 degrees for actual air temperatures now. Radar is showing us we've got this disturbance that's passing through, and that's what's kind of lifting up the moisture and bringing us some quick downpours. This is what I've seen over the last hour. There was a brief downpour along I-10, the Katy Freeway. There was another downpour along the North Freeway. Moving just south of Spring, fizzled out before it got to Bush Airport. And then there's the tiniest little burst of moisture right on top of us. So our studios are in the Galleria, Westheimer, and Chimney Rock, and our tower camera is actually showing a couple of sprinkles. That's what it's coming from. So this is right along Westheimer, close to San Felipe, so maybe you're seeing a few sprinkles there too. So Lamar Terrace is seeing a little bit of rain, and that's pretty much it. Right now, the front's main job is to drop humidity. It has done that. For Dallas, the dew points are in the 50s. That signals air that is nice and dry. 50s for dew points in Austin and San Antonio. Dew points measure how much moisture is in the air. Once these numbers get past 70, it is really humid, like tropical feeling outside. And we've got that all across southeast Texas. Houston's dew point right now, 74. I've seen a few dew points in the area that are closer to 80. So that's a ton of moisture in the atmosphere. And you can kind of see it too from our camera shot there from Hotel Zaza looking towards the Med Center, looking out towards Herman Park. That's Mr. Houston. He is sweating today. 88 degrees at Bush with a dew point of 74. That means it feels like it is 97 degrees. It feels a lot hotter than the actual air temperature because of all of that moisture. And the reason for that is when we have a lot of humidity in the air, a lot of water vapor, when we sweat, typically on a dry day when we sweat, the wind blows off our sweat and we can cool off. Now, when there's humidity in the air, there's nowhere for that sweat to evaporate, so it just sits on our skin, and that's what makes us feel even hotter. So that's why the Houston humidity is definitely something that is unique to us and a little bit harder to deal with than a dry heat, for example. Your best rain chance for today is going to come between 4 and 6 o'clock. So the snapshot shows us that we could see some showers riding along 59, 69, making their way towards the East Tex Freeway. We could have a few downpours in Sugar Land, in the Richmond area, and some of these showers could be on the strong side briefly, but I think it's just going to be isolated. So there's a good chance that if you're in the loop in the Beltway, you might not even see rain. And if you do, it'll be really quick to move in, quick to move out. That being said, if we do see a stronger storm, there's a potential that it could have not just a quick downpour, but maybe some gusty wind along with it. Can't rule out the possibility of some isolated hail too, but we're on the very lowest end of that threat. It's a 1, and notice the only areas highlighted for that potential is San Jacinto well, actually not even San Jacinto, just a portion of Polk and a portion of Liberty County. So really the far northeast side of southeast Texas. Now, I always kind of take that with a grain of salt. This can be adjusted. So maybe we see that kind of work in a little bit further west, but we won't warn you about that unless we see some activity flaring up on radar. And if we do, it's a good idea to always have that KHOU app downloaded, because southeast Texas, we know things can change in a hurry, even if the Storm Prediction Center isn't watching that. But the real bullseye there for today is going to be for northern Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. I mean, all of Tennessee is under that threat level 3, which is significant. So they could see some storms with a lot of strength, not just wind, but hail and tornadoes too. For us, it's mainly a front that brings us some relief, actually. So tomorrow, the dew points are going to drop. Instead of the 70s, which again is a tropical feel, we'll drop it to the 60s. Now, it's still humid, but it's better. And better is all that beggars can ask for. We can't be choosers. Tomorrow morning, not only is it going to be drier, it's going to be a little bit less hot. So we're starting off in the 60s. That's great. The afternoon does take us to the 90s again, but now instead of the upper 90s, remember I'm forecasting 97 today, we'll max out at 93 degrees tomorrow. So less hot. Wonderful. We won't be tracking showers tomorrow. We're not going to be watching showers Thursday or Friday. However, this weekend, we will be increasing the rain chance. Notice it's going to be mainly along the coast through the weekend. But overall, there is a higher chance to see rain in Houston, even all the way up to Dallas, as we go throughout the rest of the month. So let's talk about the weather patterns in the extended future track view. High pressure has now slid off to the east, so we're getting this backflow of high pressure. It flows clockwise, so it drags in the Gulf moisture, and that's your 20% chance for some coastal showers on Saturday. Pretty much the same thing, clockwise flow, again spits out some moisture, and there's a chance for some showers along the coastline. I'm showing you this because this weekend you might have a lot of activities planned along the coastline for the extended Memorial Day weekend. We'll look at Monday. Now we get a front that's going to sweep through the area, and there's a chance for a couple of stronger storms in Dallas, working their way the I-35 corridor, Austin, San Antonio, and then eventually getting here to Houston. So we've hiked up the rain chances for Monday to 40%. Your overall Memorial Day forecast right now looks like this. So we'll have a few storms, we'll have clouds, we'll still be warm, we'll have that high temperature at 90 degrees. Temperatures are still going to be tracking above average through the remainder of the month. It has been a very hot month of May. All the days that you see here in red, those are days where we have been above average. There's been 10 of them, only 4 days where we've been normal or average for this time of year, and 5 below. And you'll notice the ones with a star right here, that also signals days that we broke records. So not just hot, but abnormally hot for this time of year. This time of year, we also count down 12 days until hurricane season. So we're already looking at the tropics in anticipation of that. There's nothing to watch here, no development expected in the Atlantic basin. However, the Eastern Pacific started their hurricane season on May 15th. So we'll take a look at the Pacific, and you'll notice there's a cluster of storms there, and the National Hurricane Center is giving that a 20% chance of development over the next 7 days. I only show you that in case something does develop. I'll warn you, just in case you have family members nearby or you plan travel. Now, this would be several weeks, maybe, for any impacts, even if this develops closer towards, let's say, Hawaii. So I'll keep you posted on that. But it is that time of year. 7-day forecast. Again, today very hot, very humid, an isolated shower behind the front. Lower humidity, a gorgeous Wednesday. Thursday and Friday still on the hot side. No rain to track there. A coastal shower for your weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And then looking towards Memorial Day Monday, will increase the rain chances, and we will drop temperatures a little bit. Something to look forward to, by the way, past the 7-day forecast. The following week, I'm looking at some 80s, so there could be some relief in sight. For now, stay hydrated and keep up with the forecast.